Hey, if Stack didn't film it, then it wasn't filmed right.
Got my brother, man. I've known for a long time. Love this dude to death, man. He's a really good dude, right? So I say, hey, bro, you registered to vote this year? And he's like, yeah, I'm voting. I say, who you voting for? He was like, you already know. I'm like, Trump? He's like, hell no.
A well-educated black has a tremendous advantage over a well-educated white in terms of the job market. And I think sometimes a black may think that they don't really have the advantage or this or that, but in actuality, today, currently, it's a great, I've said on occasion, even about myself, if I was starting off today, I would love to be a well-educated black because I really believe they do have an actual advantage today.
Hell no. I'm like, bro, are you serious? So he's asking me, he said, Cash, why? Why vote for Trump? Okay, before we get into it, because I'm going to break it down to you, why are you voting for Biden?
With more African Americans under criminal supervision in America than all the slaves since 1850 do not roll up into communities and not talk directly to issues that are going to relate to the liberation of children, because there are people in Congress right now that admit to smoking marijuana, while there are people, our kids are in jail right now for those drug crimes.
I think you're a better person. Why?
Issue of black voters. I have a lifetime of experience with black voters. I've been one since I was 18. Nobody on this stage should need a focus group to hear from African American voters. Black voters are pissed off, and they're worried. They're pissed off because the only time our issues seem to be really paid attention to by politicians is when people are looking for their vote. And they're worried because the Democratic Party, we don't want to see people miss this opportunity and lose because we are nominating someone that isn't trusted, doesn't have authentic connection.
Because what's going on now in the situation with Trump? What Trump situation? What's going on now?
Hey, you know what, Orlando is it? And I said this earlier today. You Democrats that live in a red state don't understand what it is to be a Democrat because you're protected by us Republicans.
Thank you.
Now, if you lived in Chicago,
yesterday.
if you lived in Chicago, you find out what it is to be a Democrat in a blue state.
I come out of the black community in terms of my support. If you notice, I have more people supporting me in the black community that have announced for me because they know me. They know who I am. 3 former chairs of the Black Caucus, the only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate, a whole range of people.
No,
my point is,
that's not true. The other one is here.
What has he done in 47 years? Like what?
I mean, I just believe he'll do better than
Did you know that Biden, in 47 years of politics, has only been a racist?
If I'm a felon, just coming home from a 20-year sentence because of Joe Biden and that bullshit bill that him and Hillary put forth.
Another thing about how perspectives change over time. Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, I'm ashamed that I voted for the '94 crime bill. You ashamed of that bill?
not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Mass incarceration has put hundreds of thousands behind bars for minor offenses. Joe Biden wrote those laws.
Every major crime bill that's come out of this Congress has had the name Joe Biden on that bill. We do everything but hang people for jaywalking in this bill.
Joe Biden's policies destroyed millions of black lives. Joe Biden may not remember, but we do.
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black. Take a look at my record, man.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I marched with tens of thousands of others.
He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement and kept telling the story anyway.
I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff.
Now, his aides went back to say, look, he was in office marching for the idea.
That's not the word marching.
Twitter. I was not out marching.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
The black community lacks diversity of thought.
What you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things.
The man just said, you ain't black unless you vote for him. All right? He also said he didn't want his children going to school in a racial jungle. Didn't want integration. He was for segregation. Also, not only that, he also said that poor kids can be just as bright and just as intelligent as white kids. Meaning that black, brown, red, yellow are poor. When he thinks poor, he doesn't think white at all. He's thinking about you and me. The dude ain't did nothing but hurt black people. And then his running mate, Kamala Harris, she's got a career of locking up black people.
Family Feud on the Democrat side.
Oh, gosh. Do you remember when Kamala Harris, she had that radio interview with Breakfast Club? It was released. We talked about it. She admitted that she smoked pot. When they asked her if she was pro-legalizing marijuana, she said, of course I smoked marijuana. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me? Well, her own father had a problem with that. But listen to what she said on the Breakfast Club.
They say you oppose legalizing weed.
That's not true.
I know.
and look, I joke about it, half joking. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like
and I inhale. I did inhale.
Okay. It's really hysterical for the former attorney general of that state to talk about doing something illegal, laughing about it, giggling about it, and trying to get some traction for it. Among the people that were upset by it, her dad, Donald Harris, from Jamaica, an economics professor at Stanford University, says this: my dear departed grandmothers, as well as my deceased parents, must be turning in their grave right now to see their family's name, reputation, and proud Jamaican identity being connected in any way, jokingly or not, with the fraudulent stereotype of pot-smoking, joy-seeking, and in pursuit of identity politics. Man, what a blast at his daughter who wants to be the next president. No.
A career. Now, let's move over to Trump. You asked me why I'm voting for Trump.
In the making, Charles Duke Tanner embracing his 18-year-old son.
Good, man. First and foremost, I want to give all the praise and glory to God. Thank you for hearing me. But President Trump, I just want to thank you for giving me a second chance and believing in me and reading my petition. I'm just so thankful. It's just 20 years ago, I fought at the Trump Casino, and now you signed to give me clemency. First, I didn't know it was real until I was able to bring and touch this little guy right here. I left him when he was 2 years old, President Trump. You reunited me back to my family. I lost my mother and my father, but I got him, and this is what I live for. Thank you, President Trump.
Before Trump was the president, did not everybody love him? In the music videos, rap videos, all the magazines, he got awards from black communities in the NAACP. Everybody loved him. But then when he came to president, they said he's a racist. Why?
I'm now texting buddies with Van Jones.
And speaking of
Van White Lash Jones.
How significant do you think this is? By the way, one of your partners in working on this was Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner, whose father went to prison and who fought on this as hard as that. This is history. This is history. Right now, you're witnessing history on the floor of the U.S. Senate. There's a Christmas miracle underway where, for the first time in a generation, Republicans and Democrats are arm in arm tonight saying, we are sending too many people to prison. They're coming out bitter and not better. We want to make a tremendous difference. I want to say Hakeem Jeffries on the left, Jared Kushner, and Donald Trump on the right have brought together a coalition like I've never seen.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because when he came into politics, he started what he said, drain the swamp. He started taking out all the not just politicians, the evil, corrupt politicians. Fired them, took them out, made them go away, and put in his people. Did you notice since he's been president, the economy has been better than it ever been. Unemployment at an all-time low.
Would you like to respond to Joe Biden, who today described you might have heard that, as the first racist to be elected president? That was his words.
Well, you know, it's interesting because we did criminal justice reform. We passed criminal justice reform, something that Obama and Biden were unable to do. We did opportunity cities. We did the greatest, if you look at what we've done with opportunity zones, nobody's ever even thought of a plan like that. Prior to the China plague coming into our country and really doing terrible things all over the world, doing terrible things, we had the best African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, almost every group was the best for unemployment. The unemployment numbers were the best. You look at employment, you look at opportunity zones, and maybe most importantly, you look at criminal justice reform, you look at prison reform. I've done things that nobody else, and I've said this, and I say it openly, and not a lot of people dispute it. I've done more for black Americans than anybody, with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln.
More jobs created than ever before. He stopped making us an importer and made us an exporter. To me, that means we make more money. People talk about the wall that he wanted to build over there in Mexico. Do you know why he wanted to build the wall? And remember, they said that he was racist because he said that my brothers and sisters is Mexican is murderers and rapists and stuff, right? That's not what he said. If you listen to the clip.
But MS-13 is particularly violent. They don't like shooting people because it's too quick. It's too fast. I was reading one of these animals was caught and explaining they like to knife them and cut them and let them die slowly because that way it's more painful and they enjoy watching that much more. These are animals.
He said that the MS-13, the gang, are rapists and murderers, not Mexicans. Not Mexicans. But they twisted that to make everybody around us believe that he's a racist. Okay? Then they say, make America great again. What does he mean? When was America great? When you talk about make America great again, what he means is make America, like what I just said, an exporter again. Have jobs again. Have people believe in the American dream again, that they want to come to this country and they know that they're going to make it. Had nothing to do with race. All right? Not only that, the man gave funding for the next 10 years. This has never been done. For historic black colleges and universities, the HBCUs. Barack Obama didn't even do that. He did prison reform, meaning which directly affects us as black people because we fill up the prisons. You feel me? He said, if you're a nonviolent offender and it's just like drugs or something, you ain't kill nobody or pull a gun on nobody, you can come home, man. There's programs set in place for you to be able to.
Whenever we look to this White House for some leadership or consolation or any semblance of steadiness, what we get instead is chaos, division, and a total and utter lack of empathy. Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head.
Come home. He did everything he could to show by his actions that he ain't a racist and a damn good president. He did all that. Yet we still running around here, the people that only watch the news, we're saying, hell no, we voting for Biden because Biden was with Obama. Or Biden did so much great, but nobody can tell you none of the great that he did. But they can pull up every single thing that he's done to the black community. Specifically, Hillary Clinton. called the super predators. Matter of fact, if the man isn't a racist, why did he speak at the KKK members' eulogy and said that he was his hero or inspiration or whatever? So why does he deserve your vote and not the man who's actually showing you that he cares about you? The president that's done more for the hood, black community, Hispanic community than any other president since Lincoln. You feel me? Why would he? You know me, bro. I'm a hood nigga. You know me. So why would I be telling you that? Bill Clinton's the one that did the crime bill, but they pushed it. Exactly. He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff.
See, like Trump, he gonna bring the jobs back.
He been bringing them back. And that's why they did this coronavirus shit.
Like you say they're export. Now we'll be the biggest export instead of China.
Exactly. He brought steel manufacturing, the automobile industry. They said that was dead. And look at us now, booming. They hit us with coronavirus. You notice that when coronavirus hit, they said everybody got to stay in the house. Nobody could go out. But yet, if you're Black Lives Matter or Antifa, you could go out and protest and burn shit down and nobody's going to say nothing. But the coronavirus is so bad. We out here standing with masks. You feel me? Why? It's an agenda. So, bro, the reason why I'm having this conversation with you is because it's important. Your vote is very important this year. They've been getting the black vote. You know, Lyndon B. Johnson said that I'm going to have these niggas voting Democrat for the next 200 years.
Yeah, my nigga, I got that little money you sent, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, if you like the video, man, comment down below and make sure y'all, man, go fuck with my pages, man. Let me see some numbers go up over there, man. Fuck with me, son. All right, Cuddy, I'm out of y'all later.